Let's
Morning.
see. Good morning, Tariq. Good morning, Brendan. Good morning, Ramon.
Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, buddy. Good morning, Mr. Salazar. Got you in stereo here. Let's see. Sarah, good morning. Let's see. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning.
And good morning, Amy.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey. It's amazing to me. People are still like, where's the meeting at? Where's the training at? Hold on, you guys. Give me 2 seconds here. All right. Good morning, you guys. Thanks for being on. Looks like we have Sarah. I'm not sure if you're new. I think might be the first time you've been on, but I appreciate you getting on. So,
It's fine.
somebody getting into their car. So if you guys would mute yourself, that'd be great. So my name is Corey Williams. For I think 98% of you guys know who I am, but we put these trainings on Saturday because we know some of you guys are part-time, or some of you guys are getting started and you're trying to figure this thing out, in reference to, some of you guys just, building teams, that kind of stuff, or trying to get started, trying to get the gumption to get going. That's why we have this. So this morning, I'll answer any questions that you have. So want to make sure you guys have a clear understanding of what's going on. Amy Jenkins, thank you for being on. As you guys know, Amy's our director of operations, really is the glue that keeps this thing together. So any questions that we can ask to help you guys out, we're here to do it. Plus, I'm going to go over the meeting schedule here in just over a few minutes. So we'll make sure you guys understand what our meeting schedule is. And if you haven't gone through boot camp for whatever reason, I'm going to show you how to get back in there, show you where to find it, just in case you get lost. But if you haven't gone through boot camp, I highly recommend you taking the time to go through it, because it's going to help you. It just is. It's going to help you, figure out where the CRM system is, how to get through it, just all kinds of stuff like that. So this meeting is built for you all. So if you have any questions, there are no stupid questions. It's just a sterile environment. Even if you've asked the question before, this is kind of a guilt-free zone, if you will. But anything that you guys want me to go over, I'll cover it this morning. So it's pretty much open. I do have an agenda, just to make sure, just in case nobody's, had their coffee this morning and very talkative. I do have an agenda, but this is based off of what you guys need. So I will spin it to whatever. Just want to let you guys know that. So here's what I have on the docket to cover, what I'll start with, and then it'll just, kind of spider web from there. So we're going to cover the meeting schedule, our meeting schedule. We're going to cover 8 CMS, and we won't go through the whole thing, but I'm going to show you where the videos are. As you're getting carriers, you should be entering them into 8 CMS. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the CRM. We'll talk about dispositioning of leads. I don't think we talk about that enough. We'll talk about business cards. I'm starting to get that question quite a bit now. Amy Hillier, I saw you got your business cards. I saw you posted. That's pretty cool. We'll talk about work spots. We'll talk about compensation. And then anything else that you guys want to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead. Looks like we got somebody else who's trying to get in here. So anything specific that you guys wanted to start with? If not, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. Any questions at all? All right, I'm going to go ahead and dive in then. Let me go ahead and share my screen. If for some strange reason my screen goes out, guys, Amy or one of you guys can call me, or Michael, let me know. It'd be great. Okay, so let's go ahead and go here. So very quickly, for those of you guys that get on the Friday meetings, which should be everybody, 8 CMS. So 8 CMS is a system that's used to make sure that your agent codes are connected to FFL, and it makes sure that you and your business partners are connected with each other. Now, I might be speaking a little bit out of turn here, but I can tell you with the way everything's going, before long, if you don't put your stuff into 8 CMS, I'm telling you, you're going to start to not get paid on things because there's no way to track it, right? For those of us that are, quasi building teams or trying to start building teams, there's a new, and I don't know much about it, just know it's coming. There's a new system called Next Level Contracting, and it's supposed to help us contract Americo, AIG, and AMAM a lot faster. So, that kind of stuff. But 8 CMS, from that standpoint, sorry if I'm jumping around a lot, but you can find the videos right here on FFL Genesis, and the FFL Genesis site. If you can mute your phones, you guys, that'd be great. We have a complete section on here on the FFL Genesis website, which is a website that was built for the agents by the agents. So the first thing is this site was built, which I'm going to cover here in a second, so that when you're in the home, pretty much everything that you'll need is all here in one spot. So you don't have to click in multiple locations to find the credibility sheet or where to go to find your quotes and all those other things with all the carriers. It's all here. But we have a complete section here on HCMS. So if you're going out and you're trying to figure out how to put your agent code in HCMS, here's the edit writing number. I just clicked on it, takes you right out to YouTube. This video was like 42, 43 seconds or something like that. Yeah. And it literally walks you through the process. Okay. You guys have any questions, let me know at any time. Of course, the process, everything changes. So things will change here, especially as we get into the new next level contracting system. But right now, this is what we have. And seems like they're starting to really make some movement on getting that. Any questions on HCMS? Because I know we still have some people that are going through licensing, and this is good to know. All right, let me step back into the meetings here. So HCMS, the bonus program that Sean just rolled out again a couple of months ago. This is for any producer across the country. $30,000 or more of written premium is a $500 non-charge backable bonus. 40,000 is 750, 50,000 is 1,000, and you can see the number goes up from there. We'll talk about work spots here in just a moment. We have what's called our next level training. We had one month before last. It was very, very good. 20 plus people there. I think it kind of helped take us to the next level in reference to what we're doing. We consistently have 20 people or more writing business every week and protecting families. So we're really looking to step up the game. You'll have our leadership people, a couple that are actually on this call right now that participate in running that meeting. And it's just very good. We do everything from showing you where to buy the leads all the way through the close of the sale and what to do post-sale. So it covers everything from top to bottom. It's held at our St. Louis office. So if you'd like to come, please make sure you RSVP by December 8th. All you have to do is send me a Slack message saying, I would like to attend next level. Free of charge. You just got to get yourself there, get yourself room and board. And we'll take care of your food, while you're there, cover a dinner, that kind of stuff. So anybody have any questions about next level? Perfect. In reference to our meeting structure, every Monday and Thursday, we have Dialog Day. So you guys should have heard about this by now. And if you've watched the boot camp, you shouldn't be confused about when Dialog Days are because the entire company is doing it. But here's why this is important. For those of you guys that might be in remote areas, or might be someplace where you might be a couple hours away from an office, it's so important to plug into these things because you're going to hear top performers across the country. You're going to hear what they're saying on the phone. You're going to hear how they're getting around objections and how they're setting appointments to write 20,000 or more a month, or obviously averaging over 5,000 a week. So again, I just look at it from this standpoint. If you don't know what you're doing and you're not plugging into the system, it just doesn't make any sense. Because a lot of people will say, I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know where to find this, that, and the other, but you're also, I'm not speaking to you guys, but I'm just saying you're also not plugging into the system, right? So I will tell you in reference to Genesis, the way we have things set up is everything is done on Slack. You will get very, very little email from us. That way you're not getting blasted with email and text and smoke signals and everything else. That's why everything is done on Slack. And that's why you'll see if the only reason we'll email you guys is if maybe you're not communicating on Slack, or maybe you have a new agent code that came in from email from a carrier. So again, the communications there, please make sure you guys are jumping on the calls on Mondays and Thursday. Wednesday is our recruiting and onboarding training. So if you're wanting to build a team, or if you're going through the licensing process, this is a great meeting to attend. And the reason that is you can ask some real-time questions and stuff that you might be confused about. For those of you guys that are still going through licensing, I know it seems a little cumbersome. If you just read the information that's been sent out to you, it's actually not that complicated, but we're here to support you. But that's what that meeting is for. If you're wanting to build a team or make sure that your agents are going through the process properly, etc., that's great. Can you guys mute your phones, please? On Thursday, I just added this in there. On Thursdays, there is a Velocity team Zoom call, which is awesome. It's obviously via Zoom. You can see the link there, and we'll start to post this every week. The call this past Thursday, day before yesterday, was absolutely fantastic. You get to hear some top performers across the country. Things come up about lead vendors. There's all kinds of key ideas being shared and, all of that. So it's a very cool meeting to tap into. Again, all these things are voluntary, but there's a lot of work behind the scenes that's being put in place to make sure you guys have every resource to be successful here. Friday, we have our team meetings on Fridays where we share good news. We have a trainer on. Mark and Crystal did an excellent job talking about hiring dialers and the dialing process and those kind of things yesterday. Just did a fantastic job. And then we also, go over recognition, just anything else that you guys need to help move yourselves forward. We love give recognition. And then, of course, we have today's training, which is an open training for anybody that's new or has questions, or how do I get here? How do I open this up? How do I find business cards? How do I do an application? Those kinds of things. So any questions about that? All right, perfect. I guess you guys aren't awake yet, but we'll keep it moving. So on the FFL, you guys can see at the top of my screen, hopefully, the FFL Genesis page, you can see where it says Genesis in-home documents. So when you're in a home, you have the credibility form. For those of us that are new, you have the credibility form. This is what you'll go through when you're sitting in the home. So you can obviously go into the website and print these off at your leisure. You also have your compensation guide, which I'm going to cover comp here in just a second. And then another thing you have is your final expense and your term life grids. So I'm going to take a second and cover this. So in most cases, when you're talking about final expense and term, a good rule of thumb, and I recommend you guys writing this down because you will forget because there's a lot of information. Anybody 50, probably 50, 55 and older, you're going to be talking final expense. Anyone younger than that, you're going to be talking term. That's a good rule of thumb if you start to get confused. So let's say we're talking to someone, we've gone through, we've done the inventory, and we're not really sure which direction to go. Well, the first thing is you have what's called the Velocity in-home helpline. I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds. If you don't have any paper or whatever the case is, I want to make sure you guys understand what your resources are. Your first line of defense when you're in the home is to call your direct business partner, the person that brought you on. That should be your first line of defense. And please, guys, don't skip over 3 or 4 levels because it just makes things confusing and the questions are being asked 2 or 3 times. Reach out to your direct business partner first. And then from there, reach out to the Velocity in-home helpline. There's 20 agents on a rotary dialing system that are on there. And if you have any questions at all, you pick up the phone after you've tried to call your direct business partner. If you can't get them, you call the Velocity in-home helpline. Now, when you call them or you call your business partner, you should have already gone over this and asked these questions. So anybody that's calling me directly, this is one of the first things I'm going to ask you. If you haven't completed this, I'm not answering your questions because it's going to be piecework and you're probably going to screw it up. So just ask the questions on the credibility form because you're going to make this a lot easier on yourself. There's tons of videos out there. There's one on our website, which I'll show you guys here in a second. That's a training video. I've done a training video a couple of times. Me and Todd have done them there. I mean, you just go on YouTube and look this stuff up. You're going to find all kinds of stuff about how to go over the inventory, home inventory. And that's something we cover extensively at the next level training on December 14th, 15th. Okay. Any questions so far? All right. So I'm going to click on final expense life grid. So if there's someone, and I know we go over this every week, but let's just say you're talking to someone and they said they had AFib. All right. I'm going to kind of get interactive here for a second because I know I bore you guys to sleep with me just talking. But can somebody tell me, do you guys see AFib on this list somewhere? Somebody? Anybody? Everybody?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Brendan. So you guys can see on here, illness or condition is going to be on the left-hand side. It's alphabetical, so it's kept very simple for you. Keep in mind, final expense is going to be people really 50 and older, 50, 55 and older. Term is going to be 50 or under. So if you're having a conversation with someone and you filled out the credibility form and all that kind of stuff, the inventory, and you find out that they have AFib, you're going to come out here, you're going to go to the list, and you're going to look up AFib. Can anybody tell me, if you look across the page at the top, Moo, Americo, Prosperity, Aetna, etc., Can anybody tell me if all this person has is AFib, what's the best carrier for them?
America.
Everybody understand that? You guys are cracking me up. These are the questions, guys, I get throughout
I'm
the
with
week.
you.
All right, perfect. I just want to make sure that somebody understands that. So it'll tell you, Moo is telling you within the last 2 years it's graded. And I think that was Brandon that said Americo. You can see Americo, Prosperity, Aetna, AMAM, or American Amicable, for you guys to know that it's called AMAM, or what we call it. And then Foresters. None of them even asked the question. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, here's another thing. Excuse me. Hope everybody understands that. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and keep on moving. Another one that you're gonna see pretty consistently is diabetes. So if you're having a conversation with somebody and they tell you have diabetes, what you're gonna do is come out here and look at the list, okay? A lot of you guys, the very first thing you do, as opposed to slowing things down and listening to the client, and then you ask them some very brief questions. You don't go over the inventory form. And then you pick up the phone and you say, this person has diabetes, and you haven't asked them if it's type 1, type 2, if they're taking insulin, if they're taking metformin, how many units are they taking a day? Just asking those basic questions when you could literally come out here and help yourself and know and then not waste as much time waiting for somebody to get back with you, etc. Okay. Now, here's what I want to point out about this. If you look at where it says, hopefully you guys can see this, final expense, I'm going to go over to the illness and condition section. And I'm going to go down 4 levels. So you got defibrillator, dementia, depression, and diabetes. Now, I'm going to show you guys 2 different things and show you the difference of the underwriting types based on if it's term or final expense. Okay, I don't want to confuse anybody, but I want you guys to see this. If you look at Mutual of Omaha, it's a diagnosed, treated prior to age 50, it's graded. Then it also tells you to see the complications, which is right below it. So if they have any of those conditions underneath, you can see if they've had insulin shock or diabetic coma, it's declined. There's no time frame on it at all. So that means if they've ever had it, it's declined. So I'm going to ask this question in a different way. Does anybody have any questions about that? So I try not to complicate things, but I also want to make sure I'm providing, a platform for you guys to ask questions. Now, when you go to Americo, it says allowed, see diabetic complications. That means if they were right underneath it, if they were diagnosed within the last 2 years, they can only get guaranteed issue with Americo. That means they cannot qualify for the Premier. If you go Prosperity, same thing, they're telling you to look below. Insulin shock, diabetic coma, or amputation, it's modifying. Anything else other than those 3 things, they can get preferred. So what that tells you is Prosperity, the way they underwrite diabetes, is much simpler than Americo or Mutual of Omaha. Any questions there? So some of this stuff, you just have to take the time to read through it. But what you'll start after about your first 15 or 26, you guys, if you're using this at all, you're going to start to get through this pretty quickly. And you're going to realize you're not going to need to call your business partner or even a Velocity in-home helpline as much. But keep in mind, make sure you're calling if you need the help. Don't try to figure this stuff out on your own until you get good at it. Now, I know I mentioned it a few minutes ago. Hopefully you guys are taking notes, because I know a lot of times people get on here and they just listen and then they go out in the field and then they go, oh my God, what did he say? The Velocity in-home helpline phone number, 800-304-6235. 800-304-6235. Keep in mind, top performers across the country will be on there in a rotary. So you should be, I would almost guarantee you're going to be able to get someone. If you don't, anyone that is on Team Genesis, I'm going to give you 2 more phone numbers. Okay. The first one is Todd Hausberger. HAUSBER, G as in girl, ER. Todd Hausberger. Phone number 602-692-3903. 602-692-3903. The other person you can call is Chris Schiavo. Chris's last name is S-C-H-I-A-V-O, Schiavo, S-C-H-I-A-V-O. Phone number 979-204-0995, 979-204-0995. Now, I'm hoping you guys take this instruction. Text those gentlemen, let them know who you are, let them know you're with Genesis. Here's why. If you're in a home, and let's say you work directly with me, you're in a home, you try to call me and I don't answer. You call the Velocity in-home helpline, and for some strange reason, no one on there answers. You can call Todd and you can call Chris. They know at that point you've tried to reach out to your business, your direct business partner. They know you've tried to call the in-home helpline, and they know now that you're calling them. So you've literally went through basically 21 people to get to them. They will return your call or they won't answer your call. Now, please, you guys, I'm begging you, please text these gentlemen. Do it today if you can. Just say, hey, I'm with Genesis. Corey gave me your number as a reference. They will program your number into their phone. All right. Whoever that is, can you please mute your phone? That'd be great. So let's stick with diabetes here really quick. Anybody have any questions about any of that? We move forward. All right, cool.
Good so far.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to the Genesis site, but now you see it says term life grids. So now I'm going to click on term life grids, and you can see it looks exactly the same, except at the very top, it says term. The other one says final expense. Okay. But keep in mind, remember, we're just going to stick with diabetes just for conversation's sake. Now watch what happens when we got on the page to diabetes. Okay. So now what you're seeing is the carriers are asking, when did it start? That's why it's important to ask that question when you're doing the inventory. The first one there, Americo, if they were diagnosed within the last 6 months, they're decline. Diagnosed before the age of 35, decline. Prescribed insulin, decline. Taking more than 2 oral medications, decline. Now, Mutual of Omaha, to the right of that, everything is good unless you were diagnosed before the age of 50. If you're having any complications, you're decline. I'm doing this for a reason, because you can see Americo saying really their trigger point is 35. Mutual of Omaha's is 50. American Amicable is 35. John Hancock is 40. And Forrester's, I don't know what they're doing. They just got a book going on over there about what they're looking for or not looking for, right? But pretty simple stuff here. If you just take a moment and read through it, the first couple of times you do it, yes, it might be a little bit confusing, but as you start to go through it and recognize it, it's going to get much easier. So we just want to expose you guys to what resources you have. So when you're in the field, you actually can help yourself and not just pick up the phone and call all the time. The resources are there, but we want to make sure you guys understand to help yourself as well. Now, one other thing about, yes, got a question?
Sorry, what could be termed as complications for diabetes? I mean, there could be lots of things.
Say that one more time, Tariq.
I'm sorry, I'm saying what could be termed as complications? As you can see, Mutual of Omaha is saying decline with any complications. Now, what would be complications?
Great question. So look right underneath it, just like on the final expense grid, it says any complications. So that keeps it very plain. Don't overthink it. You know what I mean? If they have any complications with their diabetes at all, they're decline. Does that help?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know what could be complications. Like, I mean, somebody says that he or she has diabetes under age 50 and taking insulin, for example. What would I consider as a complication in that case if something goes further than that?
If they're taking insulin, right? If let's say they were diagnosed after age 50, okay, that they would still qualify with Mutual of Omaha. And let's say they're taking metformin. So they were diagnosed at 51, they're taking metformin and they're not having any complications at all. You could write Mutual of Omaha. But if they say, when you ask them about their diabetes and you already know they're over the age of 50, and you're going to ask them when their diabetes started when I was 52 years old, any complications, they're going to say no. I take metformin and move forward from there. If they have any complications and you ask them that question, they're going to tell you. So I know I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. When we say any complications, if they say they have any complications with their diabetes at all, it's out of control, it spikes, they have neuropathy, they have retinopathy, they're having, issues with circulation, anything like that at all, that's going to be a complication.
Gotcha.
And then you can pivot to another carrier. So the safest, simplest way for me to answer that, if they tell you they're having any complications at all, they're going to be declined. Now, just for giggles here, and hold on one second, Tariq, I want to make sure I covered your question. There's a thing called the Medical Information Bureau, MIB. You'll see it on every single application that you will ever write with any company, except for the guaranteed issue companies, because they don't look at their medical history because they're guaranteed issue. Here's the thing though, with the MIB, every time you've been to the doctor in the United States since you were a baby, very first day of life, it's in your medical records. So you will have some people tell you if they were prescribed a medication, went to CVS or Walgreens or wherever, and the doctor prescribed that medication and they went and got that medication and never took it, doesn't matter. It's still in their medical records. It's still there. So you'll have some people get upset with you and say, that was 25 years ago. I don't make the rules. And they're going to look at that because obviously you had something going on that your doctor said that you should be taking this medication. So just because somebody decided not to take the medication doesn't mean the condition went away. Does that make sense, guys? Perfect. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes.
You're very, very welcome. You're very welcome. So guys, when you read these things, don't make any assumptions. Just read them for what they are. So speaking of that, this is a great segue. So you guys see where it says, I'm just going to take it right up to the edge of the screen. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me move it down because there it goes. The numbers are there. It says drug use or treatment. Now, this isn't to confuse anyone. I just want to make sure you guys understand how to read these grids because this is your friend. This is probably your best friend as you get ready to start figuring out which company to put them with. So drug use or treatment within 10 years. So if they've had drug use or treatment for drug use 10 years and 1 day, are they eligible for America? That's a question out to the group.
Yes, they are.
That's exactly right. So if you're having a conversation with someone and they tell you, and you ask, they say, hey, I was in a drug, because it's going to be on most of the applications, they're going to ask that question. You can simply say, have any drug use or anything, they're going to say, yes. Was it within the last 10 years? It was about 11 years ago. They're going to be approved with America. Now, let's go over to American Amicable. Okay, within the last 4 years. Okay, which means it's easier to qualify because if it's 4 years and a day, then they're eligible. Anybody have any questions about that? And the point I'm making with this is when you're reading this information, it's only going to take you a couple times. You're going to start to figure out really quick what your transition is and which company you should pivot to. Now, keep in mind, you still have your business partner. You still have the Velocity In-Home Helpline. You have Todd and you have Chris. But it won't take long before you just don't need us at all from that standpoint. All right. Just want to point that out. Again, the difference between these two, final expense is going to be, let's just call it 50 and up, which they can somebody 60 and under can get term. But that's kind of the rule of thumb, just so you guys kind of have a parameter of what to look for. Okay. So I'm going to flip back and forth. Yes.
I'm sorry to bother you again. I'm saying
no, you're not. That's why we're here, Tariq.
No, recreational marijuana is considered as being on drugs.
Is what considered being on drugs?
Recreational marijuana.
I have no idea what that is.
Marijuana?
Oh, marijuana. Well, this is a great question. If it's on the application and they ask, some of them will say ever, some of them don't ask. So when you're going through the applications to practice, which I highly recommend you guys do, you'll see that information on there. So familiarize yourself with the application. I will tell you, and this is just my opinion, I can, just my opinion, one person's opinion. In the next probably 5 to 7 years, that question is probably going to be completely eliminated just because the states are making it, a lot of states are making it legal so they can tax it and all that kind of stuff, which they should. So it's going to be eliminated from a lot of these applications. But for now, when you take the time to go through, some of the applications don't even ask. Now, you mentioned marijuana. I'm going to go ahead and find marijuana on this list.
Especially for recreational purposes, some people take,
Yeah. Well, recreational, I mean, yeah. you'll ask the, and that's a great question, by the way, Tariq, because if it's legal in your state and you're smoking it, or someone is smoking it, is it illegal in that application? Depends on the question that they're asking, right?
Yeah.
So this says illegal drugs. If you're in a state where it's not legal, marijuana still would be illegal and an illegal drug. So in short, when you're reading the application, just read the application based off of the way they're asking it and go from there. Some applications don't even ask.
Okay.
Okay. And by the way, Tariq, love the questions. Don't apologize. That's why we're here. Because you might be asking something somebody else is not wanting to or willing to ask. All right. You're very welcome. Appreciate the participation. So that's what these grids are. Now, on page 9, again, we're on the final expense grid. This, you're talking about having a friend out in the field. So here is on page 9, Mutual of Omaha, the primary product that they offer for their final expense. Okay. Now, I'm going to say this, and some of you guys are going to forget this, and you're going to cost yourself a case and somebody not being protected. And it's okay. It's a learning curve, right? When you're talking to someone, you're supposed to verify this anyway. When you're asking for their height and weight, ask them what is on their driver's license. Now, everybody in here knows 95% of the population is going to lie on their on their weight. They're going to make themselves taller and they're going to make themselves smaller. That's just what people do on their driver's license, right? But here's the deal. There's no other way for you to verify, because I guarantee you 100 out of 100 on here, you guys don't know what you weigh exactly. Okay. But if they tell you what they weigh, you have to put it on the application, and it could cost you a case, and it could cost you, premium, and it could cost that client not being protected. But you got to be honest on the application. So to help yourself out there, so that you're staying within the line, in the field of play and staying within the rules, just ask them what's on their driver's license. Okay. First of all, most women don't want you to ask their weight anyway. Most guys don't care. But so you guys understand this. This is Mutual of Omaha. You can see it says Mutual of Omaha Living Promise. This is their application, or their product for senior benefits. Okay. You can see issue age 45 to 85. Graded is 45 to 80. Level, which means it's level premium, level benefit. Starts at 2,000, goes up to 40,000. Graded is 2,000 to 20,000. So graded would mean they have some type of medical condition or whatever the case is. They still want to get coverage. They won't offer them maybe up to 40, but they can get up to 20. Now here's the height and weight chart. Okay. This person is 4'8". And again, you can see their chart is what do you call that? Gender, not gender specific, right? It just doesn't care if you're male or female. If you're 4'8" and you weigh 70 pounds, you don't qualify. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. If you're 4'8" and you're 204 pounds, you're at the limit. You're at the absolute limit for the standard benefit, the level benefit. If you're between 205 and 221, then you would be graded. And it's right here for you, right here on the screen. So just take a couple seconds when you're talking to somebody. And if you think there might be close on a height and weight and you ask, put what's on their license. Just ask them the license. Don't ask them what they weigh. Ask what's on their driver's license. Does anybody have any questions about that? All right. So we'll go ahead and speed this thing up here. So here's Americo's. Same thing. You see the height and weight chart up the top, and look at the difference. If you're 4'8", you can be 79 pounds to 189 pounds. But mutual, it says you can go all the way up to 204 pounds. So once you start looking at these charts and familiarize yourself with them, you're able to look the information up very quickly. Now, the Eagle Premier is Americo's final expense, their primary product. You can see it says age on the left-hand side, age 50 to 85. I just got this question yesterday. If they're a smoker, it's 50 to 80. So if they're a smoker and they're a smoker and their health is perfectly fine, do they qualify for Americo Eagle Premier? That's a question for the group.
Yes, sir.
They're a smoker and they're 81 years old. Do they qualify for Eagle Premier?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said 80. No, they do not.
No.
See how you can overlook that? And then you'll start an application. You'll put the information in the system, and guess what happens? You submit it, and they were, first of all, they're going to be they can't because they're over the age of 80. So that's why I wanted to point that out. And think about it. Some of you guys have been here for a while, and I know I may have just tripped you up. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, but I just want you to see how quickly you can do the incorrect information or put the wrong thing in. It's not that it's that complicated, but at the same time, if you put the wrong information in, it's going to kick it out of the system. Now, we're fortunate with Americo that Americo's application is pretty quick, but why go through those first 4 pages just to find out that you go to put the stuff in and they get declined, or they don't hit the right age gender or age gap?
I have a question.
Here's another. Yes, sir.
If somebody is 79 with Eagle Premier, do they get those 3 years as a trial period? I mean, the same that they get for 3 years non-smokers rate?
Great question. I was hoping that would come up. I'm not going to put Ramon on the spot, but he just wrote an application yesterday, and I think he even put on Slack, Americo to the rescue. Now, I don't know if that was a final expense or not, but talking about educating yourself, Americo Quit Smoking Advantage encourages clients to stop smoking while saving them money because smokers receive non-smoker rates for the first 3 years. If they provide satisfactory evidence that they have quit smoking for at least 12 months during the first 3 years. Now, here's the deal. Most of the time, obviously you're going to put that they're a non-smoker, right? But here's the deal. At some point, if they come back to them and say, you have to prove that, or we're going to send out a mouth swab kit. If they send that mouth swab kit out and they don't qualify and they have nicotine in their system, they're going to bump their rate up. That makes sense. Here's another thing too. Some people have taken, I'm going to totally, because I know there's a bunch of those medications. I don't know if Nicorette but Nicorette used to be something you had to get from the doctor, right? Now I think you can walk into any pharmacy and grab it off the counter and get it now. But Nicorette used to be something you had to get a prescription for, if my memory serves me correct. If Nicorette is in your medical records and they see that, then they're going to swab you, right, to make sure that you're not smoking. But if some point during that 3 years of time, they send information out to you and say, hey, you need to do this mouth swab, and they don't send the mouth swab back in, their rate's going to go up. If they do the mouth swab and send it back in and they see nicotine, obviously in their mouth swab, their rate's going to go back up, and it's going to go to the rate that it should be if they were a smoker. Great question. So prosperity, you guys can take the time to educate yourself on these things. It's not very complicated. Just need to take the time to actually educate yourself. Now, now that's not a trick question. I'm not going to say that because that's totally not true. Can anybody tell me? I'm trying to grab something here really quick. Can anyone tell me what companies or carriers take Direct Express?
Come
Prosperity.
Yep. Yep, whoever said trans, that's correct. You guys, if you don't have this written down, write it down. These are the questions that I get all day long, and this is the stuff. All you gotta do is write it down, guys. Put it in your portfolio, or you can just flip your portfolio back and you know it's there. So somebody said prosperity. That's absolutely correct. I think I heard Brandon say Transamerica or somebody. There's two more. There's 4 carriers.
You got no one?
Great Western and AIG.
Very good.
I just did an app last night that Am appeared to do it.
Okay, and that might be a new one. But do you guys, thank you guys very much. So here, just so you guys know, prosperity, and maybe that's something new. So thank you very much, Amy, for that. Prosperity, AIG, Transamerica, and Great Western. Those are the 4 primary carriers that are going to take Direct Express. All right, thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for participating. So let's do this really quick. This is what a Direct Express card looks like. Okay. So the first time you see it, you don't get scared. I'm kidding. On the back of the Direct Express card is a 800 number. Comerica Bank is the one that administers the Direct Express. Okay. Direct Express is a government program most of the time, and I'm sure there's some type of an exception or whatever. So I'm just going to be very general when I say this. Most of the time, it's for people that are on Social Security disability. It's how the government puts money into their account. Now, if you look at the back of a Direct Express card, just like on your debit card or credit card, there's a customer service number on there. So keep in mind, if someone has Direct Express, it does not eliminate them from getting the other carriers. Now, this is being recorded, so I'm going to go ahead and say it because it's true. It takes forever when you call Direct Express. I mean, forever. So you can get the numbers because all of these cards have account and a routing number. But keep in mind, a lot of these people are on fixed incomes. So I recommend that you stick with one of those 4 carriers to keep things simple on yourself and the client. So the first time you see a Direct Express card, just understand what 4 carriers take them, and we'll throw an asterisk on MN. But just keep that in mind, okay? Does that help everybody? Everybody understand Direct Express, etc.?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. Hopefully this isn't the first time you've seen this, but we just want to make sure you guys are being being exposed to stuff. So here's prosperity. Again, I highly recommend you guys taking some time and going out to each one of these carriers and going through the application. Again, just taking the time through, on TV commercials and that kind of stuff, and just flip through this, because once you got it, you got it. Once you familiarize yourself with these things, it's pretty simple. Again, going to the term life and the final expense grid, if you go to page 9 on both the term or the whole final expense, it's going to have all of this information for our primary carriers. Here's Aetna Ascendo. Same thing. Very simple. What I love about Aetna, very simple application. We have videos all over YouTube and that kind of stuff. There, you can find them anywhere, but 40 to 89, this is a carrier that will go all the way up to 89. So if you have those people that are a little more seasoned, if you will, this is the only carrier that you'll have that will go to 89. They go all the way to 50,000, but it is graded. Okay. It's graded on the amount of coverage that they can get based on their age. And I post this stuff on Slack all the time, so you guys will see it. Matter of fact, I'll post it out there again today with the age limits and what they are per tier. So 40 to 45, you can get up to 50,000, or 55. 56 to 60, or 65, you can get up to a certain dollar amount, etc. The cool thing about the Aetna application is, as you're answering the questions, the health questions on the application, it's going to tell you what tier the person is. Again, we put a video out, leadership team and I put a video out on YouTube going over the Aetna application, so you guys can go out there and find it if you have any questions. Very quickly, a lot of the trainings and stuff that we do are going to be out there. If you just come out here and go to on the top right-hand portions of the screen, that's all of our social media. Nobody's telling you guys don't have to follow any of it at all. But again, on YouTube, we've got a ton. We've got up. I think we're up to 80 or 90 videos now. So we have some type of training like this, or product training with one of the, the carrier reps and all that kind of stuff. We literally have a video that drops every single day, 7 days a week. There's some type of training out there. So again, you can go out there, look, type in FFL Genesis and put CRM training. It's going to come up. Any team meeting that we had. We just had Josh and Josh Lowe and Tori Haskell on. I think they went back to back sales manager, senior sales manager, VP 3 months in a row. Just all kinds of tips and things out there to help you. So just so you guys understand where your resources are. Okay. Again, scroll down the page. Here's American Amicable. Sorry about that, guys, sliding all over the place. American Amicable. Here's the breakdown of what their products look like, right? For final expense. And then you see you have the height and weight chart over there. Foresters. And we're starting to write them quite a bit more. Transamerica. I know Tim is he turned into Mr. Transamerica now, which is kind of funny. And go from there. Now here's again, the final expense grid. If I go to the term grid, excuse your eyes for a second, and I scroll all the way down to page 9, same thing, right? Here's the breakdowns for all the products again. Height and weight charts on the right-hand side. And guys, I highly recommend if you're sitting there with somebody, you think they might be borderline and you ask what their height and weight is on their driver's license and that kind of stuff, use what they give you. But make sure you're going out there and taking a look, because you don't want somebody to tell you they're 6 foot. They're 6 foot 330. If they're 6 foot 330 pounds, hopefully you guys can see this. Are they eligible for Americo's products? 6 foot 330. Everybody see that?
Yeah, but they would be eligible for the HMS Plus, right, with accidental benefits.
Correct. They would be, but I highly recommend you pivot to something else, to another carrier. Yep. Yeah. But I just want you guys to see this, because when you're in the home, this might seem like a minor thing, and then you put 330 pounds on that application. You're 3/4 of the way through it. You put that in and hit the button, and you think, "Oh man, this is great. This guy doesn't have any medical conditions, nothing." And then all of a sudden, that thing pops up in the right-hand corner of the app and tells you they're declined due to their weight. And now you have to have a conversation. Oh crap! Now where am I going to pivot to? Whereas if you ask the questions on the inventory, call your business partner, help yourself out, take 5 seconds to go and look this up. You're going to really save yourself a lot of time and credibility with the client. I know I've had people call me and they've actually completed 2 and 3 applications with one client. There's just maybe 2. There's no way. If you're doing 3 applications on a client and you're not stacking them, you're doing something wrong. That's the truth. Just since that just came out of my head, stacking, for those of you guys that are new, what that means is, let's say you have a client that's looking for, let's say they're 45 and they're looking for $750,000 worth of coverage, right? And you could do, and don't get caught up in all the terms, you guys, but John Hancock goes all the way up to $500,000 simplified issue. And you can see here the HMS Plus CBO, it goes all the way up to $250,000, $250,000 simplified issue, which means there's no mouth swab, there's no testing, there's nothing like that at all. Okay. So they can get the $500,000 with John Hancock simplified issue, and then you could do the $250,000 with Americo to give them their $750,000. That's called stacking applications. Now, let me show you guys something here really quick. Let's see. All right. Here. This is a prime example of stacking application. This just happened yesterday. So he stacked 4 applications together to get somebody whatever coverage amount they were trying to get. $318 a month with Transamerica, $217 or Americo, 283 with Aetna, and $260 with AMAM. Now, I'm assuming he stacked those, because if that was one house, unless that's just a bunch of people all in one house, could have been, but he probably ended up stacking this. So does everybody have a better or a clear understanding of what stacking applications is? And it will happen to you, trust me.
Yes.
All right, awesome. All right, so here's Americo. Thank you guys for participating. Mutual of Omaha. And again, guys, this is stuff I can't do for you. You just have to go out, take your time, go through the information, and and just educate yourself. But that's why we put these trainings on Saturday, so we can slow this stuff down, so you know where to find these things. Again, if you have questions or something comes up or you forget something, we're here. But it should get to the point after a while, you start to understand your resources and where to go to find things, right? Again, here's John Hancock. Now this is even outdated. This says simplified issue to 250 and they go all the way up to $500,000 now. But it just gives you the parameters, Foresters, etc. All right. I'm going to take a half step back because I want to show you guys this here. And I think we had a question a few minutes ago. So where you guys will spend the majority of your time on Slack, Amy and I try not to email you guys unless we absolutely have to. Maybe you're not responding in Slack and you have a carrier that's waiting, that we need your information on so that it can be uploaded and all those other things. So just, every couple times a day, just take the time to go out there and take a look. Like, I know I have people message me all the time and they're like, when's the meetings, or where's this, where's that, that kind of stuff. I'm like, it's posted out here. You just got to take a couple seconds and slide through and take a look. Please come out here and look first, because chances are you swipe 3 or 4 times, whatever you're looking for is probably going to be out here. But here's the deal. When you're in the home, or if you're trying, maybe you talk to somebody and you're doing some research, on the left-hand side of my screen, you should see where it says unread. Okay. I'm going to scroll all the way up on the left-hand side where you see in-home help. Now keep in mind, remember you have the Velocity in-home helpline, which is the phone number that you can call. But I'm going to click on the in-home help tab, or thread, I should say. If you look up at the top right where it says hashtag in-home help, there are 6,938 people in this particular thread. Okay. Now to tell you there's 6,930 people active in this, that's just not the truth. But here's a case in point. I think I was just talking about people having felonies and all that kind of stuff a little bit ago. It's a question that somebody asked at 5:37 a.m. yesterday, right? Carriers for someone who has a felony under the age of 40. There's 12 responses to that. So sometimes I just take time to come out here and scroll through, and you'll be amazed at the information you'll pick up. Adam Yetter, I'm just going to go to the bottom of the screen here. You can see the question Adam Yetter answered here at the very bottom of the screen. Adam is a probably $10,000, $12,000 a week producer. And even he runs into issues sometimes. Non-tobacco, 47-year-old male, 5'10", 300 pounds. So he probably doesn't fit most people's height and weight. Takes tramadol for back pain and has taken that for the last 3 years. Mortgage protection situation. That means that person's probably looking for $100,000 or more. What carrier should I go with? Here's 5 here's people that have responded. Todd Helsberger put the very bottom response there, mortgage protection. He put the height and weight charts. So he's showing Americo 296, John Hancock 292, and Forrester's 292. And you can see Robbie Williams answered this, they went back and forth to answer questions. So what I'm getting at is, if you come out here and you I know Amy Hillier, I know you use this a lot because I see you post at her, which I think is great, really is. But this is another fantastic resource for you when you're watching TV or chilling out or whatever, you just want to educate yourself, you can come out here and do it. So not only do you have your business partner, you have the in-home helpline, and then you have this resource as well. Any questions about this or how to use it? All right. So if you guys get a little bit lost out here, there's really only 2 main places that you have to go. The first one is Genesis. So I'm going to scroll all the way up to the top on the left-hand side, and you can see it says Genesis. That's the team that we're on. If I click on that, it's going to take us back into that thread. If for some reason you come out here and under your channels and threads, you don't see Genesis, all you have to do is go to the jump to. And when you go to the jump to, all you have to do is type in Genesis and it'll come back up, just in case it disappears on you. And I know I get these questions about this all the time. When you make a sale and you help a family, you're going to post it Let me find a quick example of it. So you're going to post, there's Renee's sale, 551 with Mutual of Omaha. She posted that, but then you're also going to go out here to what they call the daily booms. If I'm moving too fast, guys, let me know. I'm going to click on daily booms. And here's all the information for all the sales that people have. So you're just going to post that information out here as well. There's Adam Yetter right there. Pretty cool. And there's Renee, 551. Any questions as we move forward? All right. Amy, I don't know if I still have you on, if you're getting attacked by dogs now, but anything you wanted to add or at all?
Nope, not at the
Okay.
moment.
Perfect. Appreciate you being on too.
Yep.
Some of you guys come on and very quickly you realize, hey, I want to recruit. This is a recruiting website. I know we have some people creating their own websites, and that's perfectly fine. It can be somewhat of an expensive process to do that. So that's why we provided the resources, both the Genesis website alongside the recruiting website. So if you have someone that is interested in coming on board and that kind of stuff, you can send them here. It's simply join fflgenesis.com and you can send them out here. You can also create your own link, but we talk about that on Wednesday. So I'm not going to turn this into a recruiting call, just letting you know you have a resource page for this. I will actually interview every person you have that if they're interested in coming on board, I'll do the interview. You'll get 100% credit for all of it. Person comes on, they'll be on your team. So very simply, you guys can see what the website looks like, covers the products. We'll be adding Medicare supplement on here very soon. How we do it, very basic stuff here. Compensation, YouTube videos about our compensation, business development meeting. Sean Mike, our CEO, talking about the bonus program that he just rolled out a couple months ago, the virtual sales process. So being able to sell from home or just sell over the phone with someone. That's been updated on our website as well. Our podcast. And then if they want to join the team, you simply have them put their information in here and have them put your name in the message box. And when they send that information through, not only will I email you to let you know that you had one of your candidates go through the website, but I'll also set up a Zoom time for us to all get together and do an interview. I will interview anyone that you guys have talked to that you're interested in joining the team, anyone. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move forward from there. I'm not assuming we don't have any questions there. So I'm gonna move forward here. Again, when you're in the home, this is a great video, the Master the In-Home Presentation. It's about a 9-10 minute video by Jordan Lowry. Highly recommend it, but again, you guys can go on YouTube and pull up all kinds of videos out there to help with your in-home, if you're not close to an office or whatever the case is. I mentioned boot camp earlier. If you haven't gone through boot camp, please do. It's just going to help you. It's going to speed up your learning curve. And we know if you've been through boot camp or not, just based on the questions you ask. It's pretty apparent who has and who hasn't. But I'm going to simply click on boot camp. What it's going to pull up here, you're simply just going to click on let's get started, and it's going to take you through the courses. Takes you from everything from starting, buying the leads, all the way through the end of the sale, resolving a lead, etc. Okay. All right. Any questions there? Okay. So what I'm going to do next is take you guys to a resource page in reference to finding business cards and all that other stuff. And guys, there's a reason why we didn't put what they call a hamburger button on here, so you can just click and go to each section. We want you guys to scroll through the page because you'll find different stuff on here as a resource. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and where it says Genesis additional resources and it says Family First Life apparel. When I click on that, of course, it says apparel. You can buy t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, bags, lanyards, anything like that. All you can think of and you can imagine it. It's out here. Okay. Business supplies. It's probably where you'll probably spend the majority of your time out here. Door knockers, delivery notices, which work very well, by the way. Any of the propaganda stuff that you want, it's all out here. If you're looking for business cards, here they are. You have 7 different business card types. You get one with your picture put on it, all that kind of stuff, or just a simple standard card. From what I understand, the cards come pretty quickly once you come on here and fill out the forms and all that. but not very expensive either. So I get the business card question probably once or twice a week. All right. Next, I'm going to cover work spots. So if you're not using work spots, I don't know. It's kind of weird actually. I know when work spots first rolled out, I had no idea what it was. To be honest with you, I don't think they did a good job of rolling it out. It was just like, get on work spots for discounts and get yourself plugged into an office and all this other stuff. And it's like, why would I do that? Like, I don't have an office nearby and all these other things. But what it does is the discounts that you get. I just talked to somebody, Mark, that's on our team. He just used it for the enterprise discount, and he said he saved 50%. Every now and then I do see people post on Facebook that they use the enterprise discount, and it's, literally does save them 50%. And not to have the insurance and everything else on there is pretty crazy. But just wanted to let you guys know that. So what it does is it allows you to have a certain number of actual copies or prints in an office, refreshments and stuff like that, high-speed internet. And the most important part is it allows you to get around other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. Get around other people that are making dials, other people that are trying to, build their businesses. I know a couple of people, I know Ramon's mentioned it, I know Michael's mentioned it, and other people that are consistent part of WorkSpots says it really has helped them. And then you start seeing people go to lunch together, or they're talking to each other outside of, the office and that kind of thing. This can be a very lonely business if you're trying to do this by yourself. And I'm telling you, 20 years of doing this, if you're trying to do this by yourself, you're going to be in trouble. I'm begging you guys to plug into the systems here and don't try to be rogue and do it on your own, because it does get lonely. And especially if you have a bad couple of days and you're trying to do this thing by yourself, it can get to you eventually for sure. So anybody have any questions about WorkSpots? It's $99 a month, but the discounts and stuff that you get, this thing pays for itself. It really does. Mine's paid for itself 10 times over. So simply WorkSpots, workspots.org, or it's you can go to www.workspotsapp.com as well. You can get there as well. All right. In reference to, I know we talk about this on Fridays, but when you write business for the levels guide, if you will, I'm just going to start at the bottom here. $10,000 in business, you're a bronze level producer. Silver is 15,000, gold is 20, and it just goes up and up from there. Okay. So if you do it in a day, fantastic. Do it in a week, great. Do it in a month. These are the different levels. Again, we just want to expose you to these things. Again, you guys hear us talk about America all the time, 8% bonus. If you have $45,000 worth of business with them, a credit is just $1. And I think Gregory Pitts and Mark, I know Tim probably is as well, are on pace for those bonuses. Okay. We talked about launch. You guys keep seeing all that stuff posted as well. Get yourself plugged into the convention February 2nd through the 5th in Miami. It'll still be cold here in the Midwest, so that'll be a great place to be, is in Miami. So I'm looking forward to it. All right. Anything else? All right. So let me shift to CRM. I have a couple of other things or whatever, and if you guys don't have any other questions, I'll let you go. But I just want to make sure that you guys understand, the resources and stuff you have. We're here to help you. All right. So you are trying to buy leads. Under Genesis Quoting Tools, I'm going to click on CRM. So you can click the picture or you can click on the link on any of those. They're all live. You're going to put your username, password in. Now, by the way, every single one of you guys, if you haven't gone on and bought leads yet, or you haven't logged into the CRM, when you first started and your business partner put your information in the system, you have access to the CRM. Okay. Even if you haven't written a policy and all that kind of stuff yet, I don't know why you would buy. If you buy leads, if you're not ready, I would tell you to hold off or have that conversation with your business partner. But if you look on either your spam or in your email, if you type in CMS, this is what's going to come up. You have to, again, get an account. So you're going to click on that. Your username is going to be your email, and then you're going to create a password. Okay, very simple. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. don't know why it's being weird. I had to do that twice. Hopefully we don't have any, it's not too slow today. Usually on Mondays and Thursdays, guys, if you wait until the morning of on dial day to try to buy your leads, you're gonna wait, and this thing's gonna sit and spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. Make sure we try to put we don't want to be annoying, but we try to put as many reminders out there as we can the day before, so that you guys understand, hey, buy your leads today. You guys will see me post it a couple of times tomorrow so that you're ready for dial day on Monday. Couple places that you're going to have to go out here. First one is order leads by cherry pick. That's the only option you have on the left-hand side of the screen. So a map of the United States is going to come up. Guys, there's tons and tons and tons of videos on YouTube. I think I've made a couple as well to walk you through this process. So I'm not going to make a deep dive, but I just want you guys to see how this works for those of you guys that have not ordered leads yet, or maybe some of you guys that have ordered leads but not understand the full function of what you have here. I'm going to click on Missouri. Now, just a quick tutorial here. When you click on a state, if you click the state once, it still doesn't recognize that you clicked on the state. You guys can see I've clicked on 4 states now, but the screen hasn't done anything. So you have to double click, and then the counties pop up. Top left-hand corner where it says ready, select the county. If I click a county once, you can see it still doesn't do anything. Now, if you look at the bottom of my screen, it's now telling us that we're in the state of Missouri, but this is broken down by county. So I'm going to touch that county again for the second time. And now it's going to break it down into St. Louis County. Okay. I'm not going to go over all the lead types, but internet leads, because there's tons of videos out there. I don't want to waste people's time going through each one of these things, but there's the internet. If I click the alert button, I'm going to turn it back on. In any change in the internet category in St. Louis County, it's going to send me an email. Now, it doesn't blast your email. It'll send them a couple times a day, just letting you know, hey, one of these 4 categories or all of them have new leads that have been entered into the system. Direct mail, again, there's the alert. I can turn it on, I can turn it off. So if I don't want to do any direct mail, I can turn it off and I will not get any of those notifications. But here's all the leads for St. Louis County for those particular lead types. You guys can see those there. And then, of course, the instant Facebook leads. If I wanted to turn that off, I could turn that off and only get the direct mail and then the internet. Anybody have any questions about that specifically? Okay. I know I get a lot of questions like, which leads do you buy? I buy them all because they all work. Some better than others at particular times, but you'll buy some sometime and you're like, man, these leads suck. And then you'll buy the same ones 2 weeks from now and you'll write 3 or 4 grand. It's just how it works. So if I wanted to switch counties, just for conversation's sake, I'm going to click the county south of St. Louis. I clicked it once. I clicked it twice. It's now got me in Jefferson County. And you can see I have the information turned on there. There's the internet. There's the direct mail. And there's the Jefferson County Facebook. Pretty simple. So I'm going to show you this and then we'll shift to our last thing here. I'm going to click back on St. Louis County. Click it twice. So you see we're back here in St. Louis County, right? So I'm just going to click one of each one of these for quantity. I'm going to scroll up to the top of the page. This can get a little tricky the first time you do it. So once you've got your quantity entered in for which lead type you want, you have to click add to cart, top right-hand corner. I'm going to click add to cart. You can see the legend on the left-hand side is telling you that it's loading. Now it says success. The leads you selected have been added to the cart. Now you have to proceed to cart. When I hit proceed to cart, it's now going to take me into where all those leads are. Okay. So if I wanted to, let's say the very first one, the instant internet life or lead St. Louis. Let's say I wanted to have 10 of those. I can simply change that to 10, tap on the screen someplace, and it's going to update the price and the quantity. Does anyone have any questions about that? Perfect. Let's say that there was a discount code that the company's offering, and let's say the discount code is success. You're going to type in the discount code, you're going to hit apply code, and you can see it gave me an error. The reason I'm pointing this out is I'm glad they darkened that, because before it didn't look like a button, but now they fixed it and it does. So I'm going to take that out. tap the screen again, it'll update itself and go from there. Okay. If you decide you don't want, let's say, a particular lead type, I'm going to get rid of the top two. I'm going to check those boxes, top three, and I'm going to go remove selected item from the order. I'm going to click that, and it's going to take those three items. It's supposed to take those three items off, and there you go. And now you can see the price has been updated and everything else. Now, here's the last thing I'll show you about this, or actually, I'm going to show you two more things about this. I apologize. If I was going to buy these leads, I'm now going to proceed to payment. The very first time you come out here, it's going to ask you for credit card information. So you can simply go out here. You can see these are pending. I have not bought them yet. And if you wanted to change cards, or I think you can add up to 5 cards. I have points on a couple of mine, but you can simply move back and forth through those. Once you're done, you're going to hit complete transaction. And when you hit that, it's going to tell you your leads will be entered into the system in the next 15 minutes. They usually don't take that long. They're going to send you an email that's going to have all of the names. So if you bought 50 leads, it's going to be all 50 of those names. It's going to come to you in an email. And the next thing that it's going to do is send you a receipt. Print all that stuff out, save it for your taxes, because your leads are a business expense for you. Okay. It's like buying your fries or your hamburger buns or your patties and stuff like that at McDonald's. So I'm going to cancel this order because I'm not going to do this. So I'm going to go back to cart. And what I'm going to do is cancel the order. All right. Cancel order. And this is what comes up on the screen when you actually make an order as well. It's going to tell you it takes about 15 minutes to check back. I'm going to go okay, and it's going to cancel this order. It's going to take me back out to the map. All right. Last two things I'm going to show you guys. Once you actually order the leads and you're ready to go out there and pull the leads up, the only other real place you need to go out here is manage leads, left-hand side. Go to search. When you click go to search, it's going to pull up all of your leads. Okay. I think I just ordered leads like 2 days ago or whatever it was. Yeah, a couple days ago. So watch this. I'm simply going to click on, I'm just going to click on about 8 to 10 of these. Okay. Click on the ones you want. Kind of a pro tip here. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of the page. So if you just bought 100 leads, hopefully you guys can see this where it says show. You can actually query that to however many leads you want on the page. So if you just bought 100 leads, you could literally go on here, click that you want 100 on that page. I'm trying to scroll back to the top here, you guys. There we go. This thing's tweaking out a little bit. Let me give it a chance to catch up. You could literally go on here, that actions button at the very top. You could click on that. It's going to click on all 100 of those leads. And then from there, you can actually, there we go. You can click on all 100 of those leads, and then you can just print them off from there. Okay. So you guys can see I have a couple of those checked off. Where you see what's called that hamburger button there, when I click on that, you can see the options it gives me. Open, pop-up, mailer template. You can't hurt this, by the way. I'm going to show you two things. The first thing I'm going to show you is export leads. If I click on export leads, and then I click on export selected, what it's going to do is turn this into an Excel format. A lot of people like doing this to dial off of it. So it tells you what the lead type is, whose lead it is, all that kind of stuff. Anybody have any questions about this? Okay. Don't get paralyzed by the information, guys. Just make the dials, just make the calls. Okay. Here's the second and final thing I'll show you about this. And then I'm going to show you disposition here very quickly. I'm just going to click on a couple of these again, just to show you guys. I'm going to click the hamburger button. Doesn't matter which one I click. This time I'm going to click mailer template. When I click mailer template, here's what comes up. It's that exact, all those leads in a format where you can print them off or make your dials this way. Okay. And then the top left-hand corner lets you know how many leads that you've actually clicked on. So if it was 100, you know, you'll see 1 of 100, 2 of 100, 3 of 100, etc. Any questions there? Awesome. I've either worn you guys out or I'm doing a good job. So let me show you guys this really quickly. Let's say the second one down, Antoinette. Antoinette French. I'm going to click on Antoinette. I'm going to click the hamburger button and I'm going to click open. Okay. This is going to open up Antoinette's lead. Okay. This is everything broken out in this lead. Now, please, you guys pay attention to what I'm going to show you here, because this is very important. Some of us get upset when we've gotten a lead that someone else has gotten. Now, I'm not going to tell you the system is foolproof, but what I will tell you is part of the reason why we're purchasing the same leads and we're stepping on each other's feet is because after you make the sale, you do not disposition your lead. I would probably bear to say that probably 75 to 85% of the people at FFL do not disposition their leads, and they get mad when they buy the lead 2 or 3 times. It's like, you're your own worst enemy, okay? So right here, you can see this is Antoinette's lead, top left-hand corner, Antoinette French. You can see that it's connected to me. You can see her date of birth, all of her information. You can see that you could change it if you wanted to, if the information is incorrect, which is very handy, right? You can put her phone number in, spouse's date of birth, all that. But here's what I want to focus on for now. Underneath the status, you see the red star there. Let's say I was to go out and help Antoinette, right? And let's say I helped her get a policy. I'm going to say sold. And let's say the date, you can see the lead date there. You can see you can ask for credit and all that kind of stuff. Let's say I helped her out and it was $2,000 is what we settled on, right? Once I do that, if I'm moving too quickly, guys, let me know. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to hit save. Okay. When I hit save, I'm letting home office know that Antoinette was sold. Okay. You can put notes in here and all this kind of stuff if you want to. You're going to screenshot this. You're going to screenshot the lead. And then you're wanting to screenshot maybe the first page of the policy. And you're going to email that information to leads@fflusa.com. And what they do is they're going to take Antoinette French out of the system. Does that make sense? Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you can put all the information in here. It's pretty cool. But I just want you guys to see this. You guys, you're not charged anything for the CRM, which is nuts, because I know a lot of places will charge their teammates or agents I've seen up to $350 a month to have access to a CRM, which I think is nuts, but they do it. It's a moneymaker for them. Sean doesn't believe in that, and I'm glad he doesn't. All right, so we've covered HCMS, we've covered CRM, we've covered lead disposition, we've covered business cards and apparel, we've covered work spots, we've covered the comp or the term grid, we've covered the final expense grid, we've covered the FFL Genesis website, we've covered the recruiting website as well. Join FFL Genesis. Again, we have a recruiting call on Wednesdays. Does anybody have any questions at all? Okay. Anybody want to see compensation, or are you good? I'm here to help.
I would like to see compensation, please. Thank you.
Perfect. I'm happy to show you.
Thank you, sir.
You're very, very welcome. So, all right. Actually, let me go to, let's see, Tariq. Just changed a couple things. Let me see if I did it on this one or not. Yeah, this one might be a little bit easier. Okay. Yeah, let's go here. Okay. So, again, Tariq, there's a video, several videos out there on compensation. This is the newest one because they finally added the 145 tier, which I'll cover that here in just a second. Okay, so for time's sake, let's just go ahead and say that this agent is at 110% compensation. Okay. So you go out and you help a family with the Americo HMS, or what's now called the Term 125. Don't get caught up in the terminology. And you help that client. It's $83 a month, which is roughly $1,000 a year of annual premium. First off, when you post that out on Slack, on the Genesis thread and the Daily Booms, you're going to put the annual premium, not the $83. So you're going to put Americo, $1,000, and post it. And then copy and paste that and post it in the Daily Booms. That's all you need to do. So we can help you keep track of stuff. So if that's $1,000, they're going to take that annualized premium, $1,000, and multiply it by 110%. Okay, so that's $1,100 if my math is correct. They're then going to take that $1,100 and they're going to multiply that by 75%. And I'm going to show you guys an example here in just a second. They're going to multiply that by 75%, and that's what your advance is. 75% essentially equals 9 months out of the year. So that client makes one payment right there when they're with you, and the company's going to advance you 9 months of that one payment. Okay, let's say they advance you 9 months. In the 7th month of that policy, that client cancels the policy, or it lapses, or they just stop paying for it, or whatever the case is. Okay, the company's already paid you 7 months. Actually, they paid you 9 months. The client is paid 7. Those 2 months that the company advanced you will have to be paid back. Now, I'm going to make sure everybody's clear here. If you're writing business on a consistent basis, chargebacks are, I mean, they're a deal, don't get me wrong, but they're not a huge deal because you're just going to continue to, you're going to outright your, if you're full-time, you're going to outright your chargebacks. You just will. That's just how it works. So let's just say it's $200 that you owe. And let's say it's Americo, and you go out, you make a sale, and it's $1,000. And instead of them sending you 1,000, they're going to send you 800, and you'll be square. If you don't write with Americo, and this goes for all the carriers, let's say it's been a month or two and you have that $200 debt with them, what's going to happen is, let's call it a month. They're going to send a notification out to you saying, hey, how are we going to rectify this $200 that you owe us? Okay. You can then either call said carrier, have a conversation with them. They're very liberal. They will help you, and set up a payment plan with them, or just pay it off, or go out and write a piece of business to cover that. Anybody confused by that? Perfect. Now, Tariq, let's say you're at 110% comp. That's what let's say your compensation level is with FFL, but you sell the Eagle Premier for that with that particular client. Let's call it still $83 a month. That's $1,000. They're going to take $1,000, multiply it by 105%. That's $1,050 times your, and at your 75% advance. And that's what's going to be deposited into your account within the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, before I show you an example and an illustration, let's stay in the same 110% line, and let's go to Mutual of Omaha. Now you can see under Term Life Express, and if I'm talking too fast, guys, let me know. Term Life Express, they pay 110%. But if you look to the right of it, for their final expense, which is also called Living Promise, even though your contract is at 110, they're only going to comp at 95%. Does anyone have questions about that?
No, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. Here's the deal. You have two carriers that pay a much lower compensation, but they are guaranteed issue. Now, I get this question about once or twice a week. Guaranteed issue means just that. It is guaranteed issue. You could have a person that just walked out of chemotherapy, and I mean just walked out of chemotherapy, walks to the hood of your car, and you could write them a policy and get a policy number right there, right on the spot. Okay? Now, stay in the same 110% line and go all the way across the page where you see the baby blue there, and it says AIG. Same example I just gave a moment ago, $83 a month. That's $1,000. That $1,000 times 55% is now $550. Now, I don't want to confuse anybody, but they only advance 50%. Now, here's the first thing. For me, I love AIG because I've had more people get excited about when they're able to get coverage with AIG because they can't find it anyplace else, and they never thought they would be able to get covered. That's the first thing. I've literally had people cry when I've helped them get set up with AIG, and I'm like, it's guaranteed issue. Like, man, this is great, right? But you're probably thinking, wow, I only get 55%. It only advances 50%. So if you had $1,000 commission and you're at 55%, what would your commission be? This is a two-part question.
550.
That's correct. But keep in mind, they only advance 50%, which is a 6-month advance. So anybody, what would, that's exactly right. Does everybody get that? because I'm telling you, you guys will, thank you, by the way, whoever answered that. I think that was Amy, because you'll get
Yep,
your
it was me.
commission. Awesome. Thank you. You'll get your commission. You're like, wait a minute, why is my commission so low? Here's the cool thing about this. In your 7th month, because remember, it's a 6-month advance, in your 7th month, you'll start to receive a residual from AIG, and you'll get month 7, month 8, month 9, month 10, month 11, month 12. And then when they renew, guess what you get? A renewal. And it's going to pay you for 10 years as long as that client stays on the books. So here's why I always explain to new people, and I think it's very misunderstood, and I think we don't say this enough. Give this a year. If you give this a year, because you own your block of business, some of us have worked at other companies. When you left there, your business stayed there. Here, your business never leaves you. So if you decide to go to another IMO or decide you just don't want to be here anymore, that business will continue to pay you. And I can't even explain how crazy that is. I've been looking for this my whole life. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I mean, it's just, I hope you guys recognize and see what you have in this situation here with FFL and what Sean's created. I mean, this is a great way to build, really build wealth that you can pass to your loved ones. So AIG and Great Western, if you look on this page here, the second group over, Great Western pays the same. They pay a 6-month advance, but you can see the comp level is actually a little bit higher with Great Western. Very simple application, just like AIG. I'm going to say again, guaranteed issue, no health questions at all, 0. All right. Just so you guys know, the companies that pay us the highest compensation pretty much mirrors what you write is John Hancock. You can, if you look at what your compensation level is and look at John, it mirrors it. Very simple. Aetna and Americo, they pay the fastest and they pay us the highest level of comp. All right. Any questions there? Perfect. 3 more things I want to show you guys from a comp standpoint. So let's go to the top right-hand portion of the screen where it says FFL 115. So this is simulating that you're at 115% compensation with FFL. That 5.75% is your renewal. So that client goes all the way through. They've paid all 12 months. When they pay that 13th month, you're going to get 5.75% of that premium. When they renew in the third year, 5.75. When they renew in the 4th year, 5.75. And that's why there's more wealth generated in insurance than any other industry, because you don't have to have a storefront. I mean, literally, you guys, you could build $1 million business here with no office and just really an iPad and, some sweat equity. You really can. There's going to be 13 people. I should say it like this. 13 people are on pace this year to write $1 million on their own pen. I don't know any other industry where you can do that and do it that quickly. So year 2 through 5, you're going to get 5.75%. Year 5 through 10, you're going to get 2.75%. And in the 11th year, it falls off. Okay. But let's just say you're writing a lot of business, you're building a team and all that, and you go from 115 to 120. Okay. I'm going to make sure I say this in a manner where everybody understands it. Every piece of business that you wrote at 115 will renew at 115 for that 10-year period of time. When you move from 115 to 120, every piece of business that renews when you were at the 120% tier will renew at that tier. So when you hit the 2nd year and that client renews, you're going to get 6% of whatever that annualized premium is. Year 5 through 10, 3. And then after that, in the 11th year, you don't get anything. So you're going to get paid at the tier at which that client was that you wrote. Anybody have any questions on the renewal example? All right. Last 2 things here. If you're deciding to build a team very quickly, the first level of leadership that we have here is sales manager. That's 50,000 or more of premium. You become a sales manager. Keep in mind, no more than half of that production can come from you. We have some people here, Renee, Tim, Mark, that kind of stuff. They can go out and knock out, 25,000 in a month, by themselves. But obviously not all that premium counts, right? From that standpoint, they get paid on it, they get credit for it, but building a team, it doesn't all count. Senior sales manager is 100,000 issue pay in a month. Again, no more than 50% can come from your own personal production. You get paid on it and all that, but for you to level up, it doesn't count from that perspective. Vice president's 150, but let me take a step back. At 100,000 is when you're considered an actual agency here at FFL, and you actually get your logo. Company does a logo for you. It's a pretty cool process, and you're considered a legitimate real team here at FFL. Again, I'll post this stuff out on Slack, but I just want you guys to have some understanding of what this is. So the first time you see it, outside of here, you're not going, what the heck is that? Okay. Very simple. We've talked about that already. One of the last things I want to show you guys, we already talked about the bonus, is the different levels. Okay. So let's say you're at 110. And for you to get to 115, you have to issue pay $30,000 2 months in a row. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. If you're at 110 and you've got 6-7 people on your team, and you guys issue pay 125 that month, you're going to go from 110 to 115. So on the left side, which is the producer column, you can move yourself up by writing that number twice. If you're in the builder's contract, you only have to do it once. Also, there are no recruiting requirements. There's nothing like that at all for you to move up. And the one thing, probably my top 3 things that I love about FFL the most is if you have someone that maybe brought you to this opportunity and they're just kicking back and not really doing a whole lot because they got other stuff going on and you're working, you cannot be held back by that person. And I absolutely love that, because to the victor goes the spoils. If you're the one working your tail off, you should be able to move up and not have somebody stand on your head and holding you down and holding you back. All right. Again, no recruiting requirements. You can move up both ways, combination of producer and builder's contract. And once you hit a level, you never go backwards. So if you get to 130 and, you're just kind of, doing your thing or whatever, you're at 130. Any questions about how that works out? Okay. Tariq, did that help?
Yes, absolutely it did. Thank you so much. Yes.
You're very, very welcome.
Thank you, Corey.
Any other questions, team? Cool. Well, that's been about 90 minutes of fun. So as I said, guys, we have these every Saturday. We're just here to help, to answer any questions and things like that that you guys have. If you guys don't have anything else, I will let you guys go. I think I might have a question in here in the chat. Let's see. Oh, okay. That's Carolina. All right. Cool. Well, bye for now, guys. Thanks for your time. Hope you guys have a great Saturday, and it's Weekend Warrior time. Take care.
Thank you, Corey. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Anytime.
Thank you, bye.
Thanks, bye.